Rightio. GKTwo, the time has come. Man, I am so late to this party. This video is brought to you by good and generous folks just like yourself. To help keep these videos coming, please head to buymeacoffee.com/once-in-a-six-side or patreon.com/once-in-a-six-side and become a member. We got a great Discord and a bunch of STLs. More on that soon. Simple at every step. We will see. That is a big claim. I know this printer is like the darling of the resin 3D printing YouTuber sphere. And so I'm pretty excited to see that for myself. You know, is this thing as good as everyone says? Is it really as simple at every step as it's claiming to be? We will see. All right, looks like we got our feet here at the bottom, so we're gonna flip this thing up. Oh God, money shot. So up the top here, we've got all the instructions and stuff, it looks like. Leveling paper with test, what are these? Little test strips? We leveled the GKTwo building plate before delivery, just as a backup. If there are any problems, please contact our technical support. Oh dear. Okay, so as we learned from the last video, a build plate coming from factory level is not necessarily a good thing, but yeah, we'll check that out. I appreciate at least though that they're pointing out that this is just a backup. So I guess that means we will be leveling this ourselves. Actually, I do know a little bit about the leveling system for this already, but I'll get to that soon. So here we have QC check. Looks like a license for Anycubic Pro. Cool. I should give that a go, huh? Because I do really like Anycubic as a slicer. I think Anycubic as a slicer is actually very good. When I benchmarked it, it outperformed Lychee by like almost twice as fast. And if you didn't know, when you're slicing 8K files or 12K files, basically the more K, the more pixels, the more information there is per layer, and it takes more time to slice. And so it really can make a meaningful difference to choose the fastest slicer, particularly if you're going to be preparing a ton of prints back to back. For example, if you're doing something like a Titan. So slicer performance does matter. Looks like a little brochure for some resins. Which I don't have. I don't have Uniformation resin. But one of you guys on the Discord, AVG, suggested or asked this morning if anyone had any experience with one of those Resi1 or Resione resins. So I think what we'll do today is we'll try one of those because I've got one somewhere. We'll let you know how that goes. All right, cool. Here's our instruction manual. Always recommend to anyone, read your instructions that come with your printer. Oh, cool. So they advise you to test the UV light, make sure it's masking correctly. That's a good idea. Leveling test. Okay, the printer was leveled from the factory. Please level it only if there is a problem after testing. So they have test strips to verify whether it's level or not. That's interesting. I prefer a test print, but fair enough. If that works, we'll try it. So basically, yeah, we'll get to that. Install the resin vat, close the lid, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we'll get to all this. Post-processing. Yeah, this is a nice little user manual. Good job. And it looks like they have their own slicer as well. So we will try that, I guess. But maybe... It looks like, I don't know if that's like a fork of Prusa slicer or Curo or something. It looks familiar. Anyway. Oh, spare NFEP. Cool. As well as, looks like a screen protector. So that's not bad. And it's even got the built-in like tape around the edge. Nice. Very thoughtful. I really appreciate any printer that comes with a spare FEP. It's always a good idea. Good little value add. Look at this. Wi-Fi. Dual band USB adapter. Cool. All right, we'll try that out. 600 megabits. Oh, got another one of these plugs. Apparently this is a EU plug. I thought it was a US, but you guys were quick to tell me that's an EU plug. So fair enough. So we won't use that. Then we have our box of goodies. USB drive, presumably with some pre-sliced files on it. Gloves. Good. Oh, look at that. Hex key wrench. We've got some spare clips of some sort. Not sure what those are. There's 2 bags of them. Or maybe they're not spare. Maybe we have to install those. Oh, no, I didn't see anything in the instructions about that. We have another Wi-Fi. That's weird. Which one do I use? Some more Alan Rickman keys and a pair of tweezers. Fair enough. Ooh, yes, nippers. Never have too many of these fucking things. Love me my nippers. This one comes from Pkafk. Got a little silicon funnel. That's nice. I wouldn't use this for emptying a vat. I would use a more substantial solid plastic funnel. just because if you're putting well, I'll show you. This printer comes with funnels, which is really nice to see. Filters. And these filters, yeah, so basically you got to stick one of those in there, put that in your, yeah, so you see how this is not a good, yeah, I like that they included that funnel, but I wouldn't use it. I would get something like this. This was like $1 from the local, car shop, $2, something like that. And then these filters fit in there, no problem. And that's how you want to have a not shit time when emptying your vat back into a bottle. Where this will be super useful for me though is when I want to top up my alcohol bottles, my little spray bottles, with some fresh alcohol. I think that'll work quite well. All right, next up there is, ooh. That's so cool. This is like a silicone squeegee thingy majigger, so you can you can massage the FEP and feel around for any cured resin, or you can, if you have resin sitting in there for a long time, you can stir it up. So that's cool. Look at that. And then, last but not least, one of these guys. So that is our little box of biddies. Very, very nice. That is everything I want to see in a box of biddies. Oh my god! Fucking hell, my light hood thing just fell off. That was scary. Yeah, that's supposed to lock in there and not fall off at all. Weird. Anyway, where were we? Green. We got a swingy door. Oh yes. Love it. There it is. Uniformation GK2. Lovely. Let's tuck in. In the top here we got our carbon filter, looks like. I don't know how to open it. I think that's our lump of carbon there. Yeah, it is. But how do we open this to actually change that? That would be good to know. I think it literally just comes off like this. Yeah, there we go. Aha. Look at that. Now it's got plastic wrap around the sides and little foam pads, but it has exposed carbon on the back and on the front, so I don't think we need to fuck with that, but that's cool that we can exchange that easily in the future if we want to. It's always going to be my advice that we just, if we can, put our printers outside, or if you have no choice but to print inside, vent it outside. Vent those fumes outside. This is a safe channel. We do things responsibly. Here's our build plate. Very, very interesting build plate that comes with the GK2. Seen a lot of love for this build plate online because of the thickness of it, the chunk. It never actually gets resin over the top of the plate. So I see the value of that. That's cool. That's nice. Very good. Feels very premium. I like this. We've got a carbon filter to install on the back here. So this little cartridge, I'm guessing, and you know what's great? So they got this little fan here. That's going to be blowing air out into this filter, which is then just going to capture it completely, I guess. So that's quite good. The other ports here, I'm guessing, are going to be ventilation for all the electronics. Yeah, you got the power supply behind this one. You might not be able to see that, but I can see the sticker for it. Actually, I've got no idea. There's something behind, yeah, 24 volt. I think that's power supply behind here. This one, I'm not sure what that is, but there's more power looking plugs behind there. And then we got a fan here, and I think a fan here. So I hope this isn't a noisy printer. I have a feeling it might be, just because we got at least two of these 80mm fans. I think there's an 80mm, 80 or 90, yeah. Anyway, so that should, hang on, that should, does it go that way? Let's check those instructions. Install it like this. So let's give that a go. From that angle that you're looking at it now, it looks like I have done that, but if you look at it from the side here, it's just kind of loosely sitting there. It hasn't clicked in or anything yet. And I feel like it should. Newman, how do I do this? Maybe upside down, because it looks like this square that sits over the fan, it looks like it lines up better like this. than like this. And it does. It absolutely does. So on my unit, this sticker got put on upside down. Yeah, I think. That doesn't really click on or anything. It just kind of loosely sits there. It feels like it's maybe holding on just a tiny bit. I don't know, what is that, magnets? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I like that. I like magnets. Swingy door, let's have a look. Now, it's pretty critical of the last swingy door to come through here. This one, let's have a look. Okay. Does it slam? Ah, fuck. All right. Okay, well, let's see. Pros, you can grab it from the bottom. All right, it's easy to open. When it's fully open, it doesn't protrude past the back of the printer. So that's very clever, very cool. But just like the just like the last one, the whale here, this swingy door is just flapping in the breeze. It's not. I don't think it's as heavy. I don't think it's as thick and bulky and acrylic as the Nova swingy door. So I don't think you might be as at risk of breaking your fingers here. But it's definitely going to hurt if this thing happens to slam. Like if you've, I don't know, if you've got your fingers here for some reason and then bang, this comes down, that's going to fucking hurt. That is going to hurt so bad. Not sure about that. Okay, it's better than not having a swingy door. Let's say that much. Before we get that vat out of there, we got to turn it on and lift the build plate arm, which, fair enough. Looks like we have some protective plastics down here. Oh, it's really on there. Oh no, what? Oh, that's not a good look. I think maybe this thing's been sitting in storage for so long that the plastic is like fused on there. Or is there even plastic there? Hang on. What's going on here? Uniformation? There we go. I got it. Haha. Something really cool that I've just noticed is this printer actually has its power supply built in. And you know what? I noticed that before, actually. I even spoke about it, like being back here. But so I guess let's reword this. Something else cool about the built-in power supply is that you don't have to worry about some external power brick. You can just plug in that, what do they call those cables? These ones, I always forget the name. But yeah, you can just plug this in straight into there. Super nice. And I think while we're back here, I might see if I can adapt my resin fume extractor system to this, because I prefer to just blast the fumes from this machine straight out into the great outdoors. Also, just spotted a USB port back here, so I think that's going to be for our wireless adapter. I still don't know why there's two. I guess we'll try this one, because this one didn't come in the little box of bits like that other one. And that other one, oh wait, do I need both? No. That other one just came in like a little Ziploc bag. So I'm wondering if they maybe had problems with that one. And so they've just started throwing in this into the box with everything else as like a fix for maybe some problem that exists with the other one. Don't know, but this is cool. Did you guys see the the Wi-Fi adapter that came with the last one, the Whale 3 Ultra? Oh my god! I didn't find time to talk about it in the script, but I showed it on screen. That thing just fell apart. So that was pretty shocking. Pretty shocking. But there we go. Okay, so just a little heads up. The following footage is a bit garbled because I unfortunately had a data loss scenario occur with my camera. And this actually happened a couple of times during this shoot. But the main thing is I was able to recover the audio, and the footage I would say is like 80% decent. There's a lot of weirdness about it now. But anyway, yeah, just a heads up so you know what's going on. This is it. This is the moment of truth. Does it work? Got a blue light. Another USB port here. Yep. Hello, Uniformation. There it is again. Simple at every step. So far, yes. I'll give you that. So far. It's always interesting to me looking at a new UI. So we've got 4 big icons at the top, 4 small ones down the bottom. Internal storage, it looks like. Yep, we got 8 gig of internal storage. We've got a little readout here for USB storage. This is nice. Okay, so under the print menu, you've got disk, built-in storage, file sharing, data cleaning. Okay, so this is all your print file management. Second one is excellent Z-axis movement, exposure test, VAT cleaning, and system update. I always love this when a machine can update itself without me having to go download a firmware file from the website, put it on a USB, plug it in, power cycle the printer. Like, it's just a nice thing, just a nice little user experience thing, being able to just press a button on the printer and then it updates. So I guess we'll try that too. Here we've got our Wi-Fi network settings as well as language settings and system settings. Under the system settings, we can we can name our printer. We can turn sounds on and off, alert volume, heating off and on. That's cool. Heating's on right now. I'm guessing that means it's heating up. Temperature 25°C. So we can actually adjust. Yeah, we can adjust what we want our target temperature to be. 25 is fine. It's bloody hot in Sydney at the moment. I've had the air conditioner on this whole time I'm recording, actually. Hopefully it's not affecting the audio too badly. And then finally, device information, documentation, error log, technical support. Oh, that's cool, error log. Export failed. Okay, so, I like that. Well, depending on what kind of information that can output, that might be super useful. Technical support, you got a bunch of links. All right, let's try and set up the Wi-Fi. Available networks, refresh. Hey, Wi-Fi is working, looks like. Mary and Pippin's Magic Castle. The touchscreen is so far very responsive. I appreciate that. You know, the touchscreen is the thing you interact with more than anything on a 3D printer, so you do want it to be responsive. You don't want to be sitting here like frustrated, tapping the screen multiple times, like, come on, detect my finger. So that's good, and it looks like we're connected to Wi-Fi now. So what we'll do is we will go back to these settings, and I think what we'll do is we'll tap the system update first. So I'm on version 1.0.3/v39.21, but it says there's no updates available. Fair enough. Okay, let's do Z movement. Look at that, there's a top button, so you can move the Z all the way to the top. That's cool, I like that. And then 100 millimeters, 10 millimeters, and 1 millimeter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go 100 millimeters up. Very cool. So this is the VAT that everyone raves about. Now, it's got a VAT cover, which is cool. Not the most high quality thing, just a flimsy bit of plastic, but that's all it needs to be. It's got a label on it. That's interesting. So you could write down the date you decided to stop printing on there if you want. But yeah, that's cool, because if you want to store resin for a long time, even though this door presumably will block all of the UV light or most of it, there's still that chance that over a long period of time, ambient light could get in and create like a film of cured resin on the top of your vat, which would be really annoying. So the fact that you can just cover this up really easily for long periods of sitting is great. And then of course you've got your squeegee. So, you know, maybe it's been sitting for 6 months and your resin's all like separated and horrible. You can just come in here with this thing and just like mix it up, get it ready for printing again. So let's give this a go. So my understanding is you just slide it forward. Yep. And then lift it out. Very nice. Yeah, that's good. And this is made of like some sort of plastic. Hopefully that's not an issue in the long run. Okay. So it looks like these little clips on the bottom here. That's what was in those replacement bags. So I'm guessing that's something that just breaks frequently enough that they had to include those. Fair enough. There's no max fill line. That's a little disappointing. It just says on the bottom, max 700 grams, which is not helpful at all. By the way, I noticed on the last one of these first impressions videos I did, there was a lot of people jumping in the comments being like, man, what a whiny bitch. This guy is whining so much. Oh God, I can't handle listening to this guy whining. And it occurred to me, maybe some of you, or maybe some of the people watching a video like this don't realize that when someone like me sits down to record something like this, I say sit down, I've been standing for the duration of this. As someone who's been sent this unit for free to review and make a video about and share with an audience, I and other reviewers feel a degree of responsibility to you, the viewers, to make sure that you are informed about every possible thing related to these machines. And so when I'm unboxing this machine, I'm not unboxing it like someone who's just bought it. I'm unboxing it with I'm unboxing it like someone who has to be critical and look for all the good things and all the bad things and everything in between. So that's just fundamentally a different experience, I think. And so yeah, it's just worth being aware that like this is not just an unboxing. This is like this is a machine being heavily scrutinized. So that's different. Anyway, let's get back to it. Let's get back to whining. Nice. So you can see that end FEP is a little bit cloudy, which is fine. I've never noticed any issues from printing as a result of cloudy FEPs. I think other people have, but so one thing I don't do when I did it once, but one thing I don't do really when I'm reviewing printers is I don't pixel peep, you know, bust out a macro lens and get all super close and try and spot the differences between 34 microns and 24 microns, because like you just can't see that shit with the human eye, so who cares? I said it in the last video, every print coming off a resin printer these days, whether it's a bottom shelf Anycubic $200 entry-level machine or a $1,500 bloody whiz-bang Hey Gears Ultracraft Reflex, it doesn't matter, just every resin print looks bloody incredible. So I'm not pixel peeping, I don't care for it, I'm not doing it. All I care about is, does this thing, do the prints look good? Are they fun to paint? Are they durable? And then, then we're talking about properties of the resin or whatever. I just want the machines to work. I just want them to be user-friendly and just get out of our way and just make it effortless to produce stuff. And any part of them that we interact with regularly, like on this machine, for example, this taking out the vat, any part that we interact with regularly that has been designed thoughtfully and well is a huge win. And yeah, this design, this is awesome. I love that. The only problem I could see, again, putting on the critical eye, is so say for example you had like an FEP spill, right? Or sorry, an FEP breach, and then cured resin is now on the underside of the FEP and the top of the LCD. So if you had that scenario, this is now going to be kind of fused in there. So you might be like pulling on it, like, come on, you can't lift it up. That's what you normally would do on another printer. You would just like lift it up and peel it away from the LCD. But on this one, you have to slide it forward. So that I could imagine a scenario where you're pulling on it, you're trying to break it free, and then, ow, fuck. There it goes. Yeah, so that just fell on my wrist. Oh, that hurt. Okay. Anyway, pardon me. So I can imagine a scenario where I'm gonna. So if you do find yourself in this scenario, this very, very possible, not unrealistic scenario where you've got cured resin on the underside of the FEP and the top of the LCD and the vat's like fused in there, you're gonna have to be pulling on it. So maybe hold the swingy door so it doesn't come falling down on you. But then yeah, I can imagine a scenario where it finally breaks free and you've just jostled this forward and resin comes splashing over the front and it's just a big nightmare scenario. So I can foresee that happening and that would not be fun. Otherwise, day to day, this is going to be a really nice user experience. Fucking hell. Creality just absolutely dominated everyone on the swingy door game. Like the Creality one has the friction hinges, so you can open it like this or like this or like this, and it just holds at every position. It's so good. Oh, something else that's clever about this, I've just realized, is that the LCD, this LCD is like on a raised platform. So if you ever had resin spillage over the sides of the vat, it's not going to end up on top of the LCD, so that's cool. And it also looks like there's 4 bolt holes here, so you can easily remove this LCD if you have to replace it. So that looks to be some very thoughtful design choices here, so I appreciate that. Interestingly, in the back here, there's only one linear rail, and this Z-rod is not a ball screw, I don't think. Yeah. So, it's probably not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, it seems rigid, but for how much this costs, I would have liked to have seen dual linear rails and a big chunky ball screw in there. Also a better swingy door, but anyway, let's get that build plate on. So there's like a rubber band holding that latch thingy in place. And then our build plate, I'm guessing, just slides on there, and then that pushes down and it's locked in. Yes, that's so cool. Love that. Nice and easy. No screw required. Yeah, that's great. See if I can get a better shot of that. So to take it out, you just lift up that latch, pull out the build plate, and there you go. Put it back in, slide it on, pop that latch down, and now it's locked in place. That's fantastic. I love that. And then, okay, there it is. Yeah, so this was mentioned to me on the Discord after the last video, because if you didn't see that, basically, goddamn, we ran into a nightmare scenario with the Whale 3 Ultra, because that thing had a leveling system that was just so god awful that it just created such a bad user experience, and I failed to level the printer like 3 times in a row, so just gave up on it. And my recommendation was you stay the hell away from that printer, because leveling your build plate is just something that you're gonna have to do. It's just part of owning a 3D printer, and so any printer that makes this more complicated than it has to be it's a huge red flag for that printer, because leveling your build plate should be dead simple. Like, there are mechanisms that have existed for years now that, you know, without fancy sensors or anything, are very quick and easy to level. So why am I talking about that printer? Well, because this one has a very interesting, unique leveling system here, where we have like 4 bolts to control the pressure at every corner, as well as like some hidden interior bolts that we have to screw through these holes here. So leveling looks to be a little bit more complicated and involved on this printer as well than your average resin 3D printer. So that's a little concerning, but I did do a little bit of research. I went and watched Uniformation's video on how to do this, and already off the bat, their video makes this process look very approachable. I walked away from that video feeling like, okay, I understand this process. I think I could level that. Whereas the other one, the Whale 3 Ultra, that video just leaves you scratching your head like, wait, what? I have to do this many steps? Jesus Christ. And then the order of operations is weird, and yeah. This was Uniformation's instructions on how to do this were very clear. But rest assured, I will be loosening all of these off and testing it for myself and seeing if I can get it level. Because if not, that's going to be a huge reason to seriously consider not buying this printer. As God, the frustration you're going to experience with a resin printer that is not easy to level is just unreal. But we'll see. We will see. I like that there's a little warning back there too. Beware of crushing hand. That's good. So the LCD's doing something. Enter the interface. Oh, so it's like a little screensaver. Okay. We need to do an exposure test. And that looks to be working quite well. Now, I did just bump my camera aggressively enough just now that it gave me a warning about data loss, so I'm very concerned I just lost a bunch of this footage. So, oh God, we will be checking that. Exposure test has ended. Good. And we also have the vat cleaning option, which is nice. Oh, and a couple of different masking options. So you can do just the center, or you can do the whole thing. Nice. Looking good. Looking very uniform. Probably shouldn't look at that, hey. Okay, here it is. Resion, or Resi1? Resione? Who knows? M70 high precision resin. So yeah, one of the guys on my Discord, I think it was, hang on, let me double check. Because this dude deserves some credit. AGN on my Discord server, who is an incredible painter. I'm going to show you one of his paint jobs here. He wanted to know if this resin's any good. And so, yeah, let's just test it and have a look, and I'll let you know. And it looks like made in China, color, salmon, operating temperature, 20 to 35 degrees, layer thickness, 25 to 50 microns, shelf life 2 years. Yeah, let's give this a whirl. Oh, interesting. So this resin comes from factory without a seal on top. Don't know how I feel about that, but fair enough. So I just remembered, before we install this resin, actually, we have to do a little level verification thing. So they provide this leveling paper here and these little test strips, which is very interesting. And they recommend you watch their video guide for this. But yeah, there's the little test strip. Isn't that different? One nice thing they could have done here is put a little QR code that links to the video, so I could just, with my phone. But that's all right, we'll find it. We'll find it. Yeah, it has this weird thing with like these internal bolts and then the 4 on the corners with springs. Oh, I don't know if I like that, but yeah, we'll test it. We'll try it. Main thing is, can I do it quickly and easily and feel confident at the end of the process that the build plate is level? And then when I test it, will it be level? If so, great. You know, that's all that matters. The choice of music on this video is hilarious. I don't know that I can play it, but I recommend you go check that out. Checking the leveling. Yeah, so you take one of these test strips, fold one side twice inwards like this, you make a little circle. Okay, so you take one side and you fold it like this, and then you fold it like this, and then you squish it. So it's like, it's 3 pieces thick, and then you take your vat out. God damn, bumped the camera again, and it's telling me I might have lost data. That's never a fun experience. Anyway, okay, so we got that. Now it says that it should be tight and really difficult to remove the paper, which it is, and so we just hit Z = 0 again, and we do the next corner, and yep, that's nice and tight as well. And so I'll just go quickly now and do the last 2 corners. Yep, so every single one of those corners is tight. That's good. So let's get this vat installed. Let's get some resin in there, and let's do our first print, which will be just to test, like, for reals, is it actually level? Because I don't like just testing it based on paper. You know, there's room for ambiguity there. Like, yes, it was tight to pull on it, but like, how tight should it be, you know? And then let's pour our resin in. Nice thing about this vat too is it's like pretty much straight to the front of the printer. So it's really easy just to get this bottle in here where it needs to be. And ooh, look at that color. So I don't know how much I can put in because there's no max fill line, but I'll get maybe half the bottle. That feels to be about half. And crazy color on this resin. Low odor, which is good. I can't smell it at all. There you go, you can see that in there. Isn't that cool? All right, let's go see if we can add this thing to GKTwo and prepare a file. Oh, also I want to design a little drop-in bracket for the back too to work with my fume extractor system, which you can't see because there's not enough light over there. But yeah, that will be the first thing I do, I think. Rightio, let's have a look at GKTwo. I imagine it's probably in Lychee as well. Yep, Uniformation, GKTwo, lovely. Layer height, 0.3. Nah, mate, I'm good. I'm good. 0.05. Bottom layer's 30 short. Exposure time, we'll have to dial it in. Now I'm guessing that the Uniformation don't have a exposure range finding function, which is probably, I mean, they might, but I doubt it. Calibrate. Settings. How to set exposure time in use different resins. Open G-cone slicer. GK1 slicer. Save to USB. Assemble the parts together. Normal exposure. If the 2 parts fit well, not too loose or too tight, then the exposure time is best. Yeah, so you print this once, print it again, and you just keep doing it until you get it to fit. Video's lagging hard. Oh boy. There we go. Okay, I get it. That's a nice, yeah, that's an easy little exposure part. But you can't print a bunch of them in a single print at different exposure times. Come on, Uniformation, program it in. We'll all love you for it. So far, Anycubic is still the only one doing it, as far as I know. So, Uniformation, you are lagging behind as well, like everyone else. That's fine. Guess we'll be calibrating for the next few hours. I'm not going to use your test. I'm going to do cones. I like cones. Let's see what Resi1 say about their M70 resin. Okay, M70 at 0.05mm layer height. They are anticipating 3 to 4.5 second exposure times. Wow. Okay, so we'll start at 3. We'll start at 3 and see how we go. We've also got Lychee. Lychee, why you fucking like? You are such a slow prick. All right, here we go. Love you, Lychee. 3D printers, add resin, Lychee. Wait, what am I doing? Uniformation. There it is. Uniformation GKTwo. Edit. Burn in. Sure. Yep. Okay. A little bit less than GKTwo. That's fine. Layer thickness. Good. Exposure time. So we'll start at 3. And, oh, actually, this will be fun. I'll show you the difference between Lychee and GKTwo in terms of slice speed. So if we grab something substantial, maybe something from this month's files. By the way, this video is sponsored by you guys. Everyone on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee or YouTube. Becoming a member through any 3 of these platforms is so greatly appreciated, and you guys are really helping keep the lights on around here, keep these videos coming, keeping me afloat, so I'm greatly and deeply appreciative to every one of you. And we've got some fantastic STL rewards for you all this month. So where are we? March. We got some great stuff from Artificers Mini again, and check these out. Look at this. We got Zephyri Hellforge. Man, my computer's like really struggling at the moment. I'm not sure why. Oh wait, yeah. I'm running a repair in the background here, trying to recover some video footage. Hopefully it's not lost. Onizukai Kotu, Western Australia, that guy, we got him. And then, ooh, little animation, nice, of the Boitata, the Lurking Flame snake monster guy. Super cool. Artificer Mini also donated some stuff to the welcome pack. We've got this Arcane Watcher for you D&D guys, Dwarven Columns, Dwarven Gate, Dwarven Walls, and Dwarven Forge, so you can build yourself a nice little Dwarven themed gaming table with these parts. We've also got Titan Hill Beast Hunter and Fimbly, Son of Gimler. So two very cool little fantasy Dwarven themed models, so love that. And so because these have been donated to the welcome pack, they are going to be available in perpetuity, which is awesome. So thank you, Artificers Mini. We've also got from Synergy Studio the tanks from last month. He's also donated those in perpetuity, so at any point if you sign up you can get those two cool tanks. But also his March donation, which is another fantastic tank, so really appreciate that. Thank you, Synergy Studio. So you're going to get those when you sign up. From Dork Factory you're going to get this cool little model. This looks like a fun one to paint. This little guy, you know, hiding amongst some rubble. Looks like he's taken fire, trying to call for backup. Very cool. Thank you, Dork Factory. From Hivemind Minis, we've got 2 packs of Space Dwarves, which is super cool. So we got the Droidkin Wardens, and as you can see, this is a builder for your dwarves. But what's cool about these is they are droid dwarves. So they've got little robot heads, which is very interesting, very cool. It's a unique take on the Space Dwarves, the squats, Robo Squats. And we've also got the Droidkin Warden. So there you go, look at that guy. Very nice. Thank you, Hivemind Minis. Hivemind Minis make some really cool stuff. Do check out Hivemind Minis. From Imp3D Sion, we got a cool elemental thingy. Tauren Magma Elementalist. Super awesome. Thank you, Imp3D Sion. From Moid, we got a whole bloody Space Marine builder. How cool is that? So you can build yourself your next Grimdark Future Battle Brothers army. I think that's the correct name. Yeah, super cool. Thank you, Moid. Check out Moid. Moid makes some great stuff. Check out M3D Sion as well, of course. Neoteric Miniatures. We got the Strider Scout Duo frame thing. These are bloody awesome. Look at these. So cool. And Neoteric includes a bunch of great instructions, which I love to see. And you can see these models have just a ton of options. So really, really cool. So you're going to get that as well. Thank you, Neoteric Miniatures. And then from Stoneforge, we got a couple of donations here. We got the Rock Clan Clubber. That's a bit of a tongue twister, but there we go. So we got that guy wearing like the dinosaur bones on his head. Very nice. And then the Venom Clan Spitter. Super cool. Thank you, Stoneforge. And then yeah, last but not least was that tank from Synergy. I think I have another render of it here. Yeah, there we go. So you can see what that looks like. Fully built. And that has a bunch of different weapons options as well that you can see here. So different sponsons, different turret, different tracks? No, same. Yes, yeah, different sets of tracks. Yeah, depending on if you want like little extra turrets on top or not. So yeah, those are all the files you get this month. You also get the welcome pack, which includes some bases that are now fully pre-supported. I don't really recommend printing them in resin because it is kind of wasteful. But I mean, the files are there if you want, so you can do that now. Alright, I won't waffle on anymore about the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, but yeah, really appreciate it if you guys can sign up there. Every dollar helps. Okay, back to this. So yeah, well, let's do a comparison. Let's take Synergy's one of Synergy's tank files, like a big one. Let's go with the body, and we'll put that in here as well. Alright, and then I'm going to try and match the settings as close as possible. Shouldn't affect the time too much, but the main one is going to be the layer thickness, and they're both at 0.05. So that should be fine. So let's do it this way. Let's get a timer up here, and let's get Chitubox Okay, here we go. So I'm going to hit slice and start this timer. We'll see how long this goes. Oh, wait, I should have done stopwatch. Hang on, cancel. Okay, so we're going to hit slice and this stopwatch as close to the same time as I possibly can. You know what? I think Lychee might actually beat out GKTwo, which is crazy because when I did this test last year, GKTwo smashed Lychee, so this is interesting. I don't know if that was like an anomaly with GKTwo. Maybe we can try this again with another file or something. But very interesting. I might double check actually that my GKTwo is fully updated. Done. Okay, and then there's the beeping at me? I don't know what the beeping is. Done. 2 minutes, 4 seconds. That was slow. Bloody hell. And that was from clicking slice to getting the saved file here on my desktop. And GKTwo that's sort of broken down into two processes. First you got to slice it, and then you got to hit save, and then it saves it. So that's the total time from slice to ready to print file. 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Kind of a lot. All right, so yeah, Lychee wins by about 35 seconds. So that's pretty interesting. Good job, Lychee. Guess we'll use Lychee for this video. Good job. All right, so let's get rid of this. Let's get the cones of calibration. Where are they? Oh, there's a new version of cones. I want to try that. It's got like dimensional accuracy tests and stuff. Where is that? Let's get that right now. This version of cones has an upgrade I'm pretty excited about, and it's a very simple thing. Just gotta find it here. So there it is. Now what's the Wi-Fi implementation like? So I will get back to the new cones in a second, but first, rather than subject you to the frustrating experience that followed this little detour as I tried to work out the Wi-Fi, I figured I'd just summarize it here quickly for you. Connecting to this printer via a web browser is not a thing, sadly, so I suspected maybe it relies on the slicer then, like other printers do. I checked both Lychee and GKTwo, but couldn't see anything in either of those related to wireless print management, so I then decided to install Uniformation's own slicer, expecting to find the solution there. For some reason though, Uniformation do not make it easy to find their slicer on their website. It wasn't until I was deep in the FAQ section where I eventually found a link to a Google Drive that had the slicer on it. Except no, because this is an old version from a couple of years ago that doesn't have a profile for the GK2. I gave up at this point and just carried on with the first print. But for the sake of wrapping up the topic of Wi-Fi and the GK2 here and now, I did later remember that little USB stick that came with the printer, and sure enough, a more recent version of their slicer is included that does have a profile for the GK2, which, by the way, it is just a fork of Prusa slicer. And yeah, there's still no way to send prints remotely to the printer from here either, at least that I could see. I then decided to Google it, like I should have done from the start, which led me to Uniformation's video guide, which revealed I wasn't too far off with the URL in a browser. I just needed to do it in the File Explorer instead. So there you go, you can send files to the printer remotely, nice, but you can't remotely control the printer. You still got to go over to it and start a print from the touchscreen. So not the worst implementation of Wi-Fi. I appreciate that it's on our local network and doesn't involve some remote server. That's super nice. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to cones of calibration. I just got way off track. I was about to say this has a brilliant feature that I really love over the previous one, and that is 2 success cones. Well, these are all success cones on this side, but on the previous version there was one that mattered above all others, and basically that one cone has the slimmest connection point of all of the success cones. So if that one is a success, then you're good to go. But this one has 2 of the exact same success cone, which is really good because it's just like a redundancy. So if you have even just one of these 2, you know you're good. So I really appreciate that. That's going to make this even more of a solid choice when doing a resin exposure range finding print on an Anycubic machine. And if anyone from Uniformation is watching, I hope you are, please go check out my ultimate guide for resin 3D printing. I'm going to link directly to the part you need to watch, which is about calibration. Copy program that into your printer, and you will have an incredible feature. And if you do it, I'll make you another video raving about it. How about that? As an incentive. All right, so that goes to any manufacturer. Any manufacturer, because I've told everyone to do it. I've told Creality to do it. I've told Elegoo to do it. I've told
Nova 3D to do it. I told Hey Gears to do it. Who else? Like, it's such a good feature, and the only company that has it is Anycubic. I can't for the life of me figure out why no one else has taken the time to program it. Like, surely it wouldn't be that hard. But anyway, so Uniformation, I'm telling you as well, please do it. And we hobbyist printers will love you forever. Anyway, let's slice this up and print it. I think we set this to 3 seconds, right? Yeah. All right, let's go try and print this.
USB on the front. Nice. Lovely. It looks like it's turned out pretty nice. So the way this works is it's compatible with this system here. So those bolt holes should line up. If not, I'm gonna cry. Yes, excellent. Yeah, and the reason I didn't build the magnet slots and everything into this face is because this piece that needs to connect to the printer really benefits from having these like flanges on it. And so then so in my mind, it makes sense to just print this plus this, bolt them together, and then that should work well. So I will quickly bolt these together and then install some magnets in the back here. These are 5x3mm magnets, and then test out the fit on the printer. I think that might be snug enough that I don't need to use super glue. That's good. Oh no. Whoops. Yeah, that was not the right approach. U-disc, there it is, cones, print. Resin volume, what's this? 2.5 mil, okay, cool. And this is the current temperature, I'm guessing, 24, 25 degrees C. So it should start, presumably. Or is this the target? No, I think this is what it's currently sitting at, but it says it's heating. We've also got a readout 25 here. It's the same. I don't, oh yeah, there we go. It's printing. I was about to say, I don't think I need the heater because it's pretty warm, but there it goes. So yeah, as you can see, that build plate just lives above the surface of the resin, which is very cool. Very nice. Okay, looks like I got my tolerances wrong, and all of these magnets are sitting just that little bit proud. But that's okay. I think it'll still work. Let's try it out. Okay, so I've just realized I'm gonna have to iterate on this anyway, because my intention was that when this thing goes in, that it would be shorter than the original, and so you wouldn't have this gap. But for some reason, I guess I mismeasured that. And it's not going in as far as I'd like, but it's holding there with the magnets. So that's cool, and it's sitting around the fan, and it's definitely blasting air out, so, you know, it works. You might even be able to use this system without an inline fan later on down the hose, and just rely on this little fan, because this fan's not too bad. Oh, and it's not too loud. I was worried this printer would be loud, but it's now currently printing the first cones of calibration, and it's not too bad. So the choice of fans from Uniformation is very good. I appreciate that. Well, looks like we're going to be testing bed leveling sooner than I thought. That is the end of the first print, and yeah, no cones. Also, are you seeing this? This might be hard to see on camera, but there's resin all over the door and around the lip of the vat. That's no good. So let's give this a little bit of a clean. Come on, mate, focus, focus. Okay, that was easy. And then clean the inside of this. So I guess this will be a good time to test the vat clean function. And, oh God, we can see how that goes. So let's go to vat cleaning, 10 seconds default, that should be plenty. And it's exposing. Okay. Just spotted some more drips at the back too. See those? Right in there. Now, I didn't have any supports handy to do the, you know, the little trick where you stick them in the corner or whatever. That's fine. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. We'll see rather how easy or difficult it is to do the old-fashioned way. So just pull it out. Oh, I like the, oh, that's brilliant actually, because yeah, you can pull this forward. It's not at a tipping risk because it's still latched at the back. And so now you can just, with a finger, you can get up under here and sort of push on the corner of the FEP while you get in with your other fingers and just grab that little sheet. It's very thin. It's proving very difficult. Uh-oh. It's really on there. I thought NFEP is supposed to release easier. Ah, shit. You want to be careful when doing this method that you don't like dent the FEP with your fingernail or anything. It's really on there. Not off to a great start, unfortunately. With the GKTwo. God, I can't get it. Come on. Might try exposing a little bit longer. Oh, this sucks. Really on there. Normally I can get this. Okay, I just managed to get like a tiny piece, and it like flaked away, which does not bode well for this resin at all. This might be a very brittle resin. Yeah, I'm like, you see this? Okay, I can pull it up, but it wants to break. It seems very fragile. So I think I need to now drain this vat because I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of loose bits of resin here. That sucks. Yeah, see how that just tore there? I think this is an extremely brittle resin. Uh-oh. Oh, I hate that shit. I hate brittle resins. Yeah, I'm going to drain this out and we're going to switch to another resin. Sorry, AGN. This just does not bode well. I wonder even if the adhesion was like so good to the FE. I don't know what's going on. Hang on, let's deal with this. So now we get to test how easy or difficult it is to drain this vat. So we've got our big funnel here with our filter. I don't see a spout on any corner, so I guess it's just pick whichever corner you like and roll with that. So let's do that. And hopefully this isn't too bad. I'm gonna get some paper towel ready to go for cleaning, which unfortunately is on the other side of my table tonight. Got my desk around the wrong way. Okay, let's do this. Let's have a crack. Oh, I don't like this. Ooh. Okay. There's nowhere really convenient to hold it while you do this. I really loved those big handles on the Nova 3D build plate. Fuck. Yeah, see that? It's like leaking up here. Oh, man. Oh, don't know about this vat, hey. Oh, all right. So, where's that squeegee thingy? Crap. I should have had that handy. But I didn't, so I'm just underprepared. Okay. Here's one of these from another printer. Yeah, this is one thing I don't like about when companies get too fancy with their vat design, is it just makes cleaning it extra steps. And you can see, I don't know if can you see that? That's like a chunk of that cured resin there. But yeah, the more like complicated you make the shape of your vat, the more fiddly it is to clean. So I would have preferred if the interior geometry of this was just a simple rectangle rather than this like staggered thing with like you know, pockets and stuff. It's simple vat is better. Actually, I really think, yeah, Nova 3D nailed vat design. I'll give them that. If Nova 3D's vat with its big handles had this kind of slide-in mechanism on the sides, I think that'd be a winner. That'd be a big winner right there. But yeah, so far this is horrendous to try and empty. That's almost as bad as the Ultracraft Reflex. I don't know if I've spoke about that yet on the channel. I think I put it in the notes on my my last Hey Gears video, my pros and cons notes. But yeah, basically their vat is the same kind of thing. It's this very unique shape with a lot of complicated relative to other vats, complicated geometry going on. So it just makes them a bit more fiddly, a bit harder to clean. You can see this one's got all bloody messy around the sides and stuff. So I'm now gonna have to spend a bit of time here just wiping this down before I can get it ready for the next resin, which definitely will not be M70. Sorry, Resi1. I do have other resins from them. I'll figure out which one is their tough resin and I'll grab that. I'll give them another chance. But yeah, seriously, I think I said in my last video God, who cares about like a resin that I don't think we need high detail resins for miniatures, because even when you use tough resins, to my eye, they still come out looking just as good. So any differences in detail is really, I think, again, it's like you need a macro lens and you need to pixel peep. So who cares? Just get a tough resin. Yeah, I don't see any point to sacrificing toughness to gain some like level of quality that you can't even see with your naked eye. So anyway, I really hate doing this. This is the last thing I want to do right now. I need an assistant. Pippin, can you help me? Can you clean up my vat? What do you mean you're a rabbit? See, there's a possibility that the build plate is level, and the reason the cones didn't stick is because of this resin, maybe? This resin maybe needs like a much higher burn-in time than the 30 seconds we did give it. It's possible. We could also sand the build plate. That might be something we have to do, which is fine. So if you're still with me, comment down below. What do you think of this kind of video? I feel like the response to the last one was majoritively positive. I hope that's the case again, because honestly, this is, I think, the most fun kind of video to make, where I can just run my mouth while I do shit. It's easy. I mean, it still takes a lot of time to cut down to something watchable, but compared to, you know what the difference is? The difference is it doesn't require that like, that creative filter over the top of like storytelling and, you know, what effects should I put here? Should I do a transition? Do I need music here? Blah, blah, blah. All this kind of like creative decisions that you do when you make like a normal video. This just doesn't have that. This is just very straightforward. And yeah, my hope is that actually, like, because of this format being the way it is, I can actually get you a lot more information, a lot more value, and really help you with your purchasing decisions, versus a video that's like some big printing project, and then at the end of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this printer was great, and I liked this about it, and I didn't like that about it. Versus, yeah, this, you kind of get to vicariously live through me and experience the GKTwo, or whatever printer it is. So do write up your comments. I love all your nice comments, even the negative comments, which sometimes do my head in, but I value them all the same. Sweet, sweet engagement. Okay, next thing is that lovely build plate. So this should be pretty easy to clean. We just gotta wipe it down here like this, and around the sides a couple times, and that should be pretty good, pretty straightforward. That is a very smooth block of aluminium, probably. Aluminum is, hang on, so on the topic of aluminum versus aluminium, let's have that discussion. How do you say condominium? Or is that spelt the same? I'll have to double check that. Is that spelt the same as aluminium, condominium, aluminium? Aluminum? Is the spelling different? I'll have to check. I feel like both are right. If we understand what's being said, what's being communicated, then both are right. That's probably the fair answer, isn't it? Getting off track. That was easy. Okay, yeah, like the build plate. That's good. The vat, I'm a little more mixed about. But overall, so far, so good. Here we go. M58 Grey Tough Resin from Resi1. Hopefully we've got here another good miniatures resin that I can recommend you guys. Let's find out. Also, V2 is here, and I think this time we got it. There was also a couple of little cutouts I had to make here that I didn't notice on the first time that this model has. So now that we have that, it should sit perfectly well in there. And I should have the magnet depth correct this time as well, because last time, even though I thought I had the right amount of tolerance modeled in, I input the whole value in. I was off by a whole millimeter in my value. So yeah, despite the tolerance, it made little difference. So what we'll do is glue these in, I think, just to be safe. Just like that. 100% gonna get super glue on my fingers. Ah, no, you fuck. Ah, okay. I just have to use my fingers. I don't want to, but I have to. Nice, that is perfect. There we go. So we've got the outlet coupling thingy on that end. We got our magnets installed here. I think we're ready to go. Let's try this out. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, I think that's it. It's got a little bit of play, but I can feel the magnets holding on, so that's good. It's working. It's working. Yeah, sweet. It does what it's supposed to do. That is the main thing. All right, I'm going to remodel that and make it parametric, and I'll upload that soon. I did have one small problem with these bolt holes not lining up perfectly. They were out just a tiny bit, so I just ran the drill through them. And I'm not sure why they didn't line up because the measurements are exactly the same. So that's weird, but yeah. In any case, you guys can have that file and you can with it as much as you like. Oh yeah, that is one grimdark GK2. Okay, M58. She's a thick one. Pippin's like, what the f are you talking about? What are you doing? You're listening for something. You want food? No seal either on this one.
So I just come to Resi One's website because I was curious how much this resin is, M58, because so far it seems pretty good. And they got $55, which it's kind of expensive. But then you scroll down here and they tease you with this shit. Click here to buy at an ultra low price of just $35 USD per kilogram, which would be super competitive with the other really good tough resins. Except if you click on this, you get a 404. What the fuck?
So one of the things I want to know about this printer is, can I change the print settings for a print job on the printer itself? I can't remember if I talked about that with the Nova, but I couldn't do that with the Nova, and it was annoying because I had to reslice cones every single time I wanted to print it. And so here, let's have a look. What are my options? Print, delete. So let's print. Resin volume, yep. So it's going to heat up. And we've got pause and stop. So I'm guessing no. I'm guessing we can't do that. Okay, fine. Let's test the pause feature and see how it works. Does it have, oh my God, wait, hang on. Enter the interface. Yeah, here we go, pause. Are you sure you want to pause printing? Absolutely. Pausing. Yes, come on, come on, come on. Please be there. Please be there. Yes, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it. Can you see it? Probably not. The cones of calibration. They are a printing. Cool. So yeah, it was just that other resin. Needed a much higher burn-in time. That's fine. Let's resume. Get back to work. Okay, cones at 3 seconds. Looks to be a success. Well, build plate adhesion is a success in any case. Yeah, it looks like our 2 success cones are in there. And we've got some partial failure cones forming. So build plate adhesion is good. This does not want to come off. Someone recommended I try a razor blade. Let's give that a go. Aha! Nice. Okay. Razor blade it is. And that right there is our cones of calibration. I know this part gets a lot of hate, but I don't think that's fair because it's an easy way to quickly dial in any resin and know that it's going to work with the majority of pre-supported files if the files have been supported well. Whereas when you tune to dimensional accuracy with something like a Mirror Labs Town or whatever, then you're kind of like, then it creates a little bit of ambiguity. You don't know then if it's your supports or the resin that you're using that's letting you down. So tuning for tensile strength is pretty smart. And I think this is the way to go for newbies getting into resin printing. Start with cones, and then if you really want to, then get into dimensional accuracy. So I'm now going to print the bed adhesion test and just verify that this bed is in fact perfectly level. Okay, so I've just given this a quick little clean. And so what's cool about this is, for one, is there's some little things built in to help us figure out if we have dimensional accuracy in addition to good tensile strength. First things first, we break off this little piece and then drop it on the floor. God damn it. And then we see if that fits in this mug, which it does not. So that tells me we're overexposed, which is cool. And then there's a little sword in here, which, how do we get that out? Yeah, I can't even get the sword out. That's gonna, yeah, I'm definitely overexposed, I think then, which, fair enough. Come on, get out of there. This bodes well for this resin because I'm bending this sword quite a bit. And oh, there we go. Yes. How cool is that? Okay, and then yeah, so then the tip of this sword, you stick it into these holes here. And then I guess, I don't know how to, it fits into both of those, but is it supposed to go all the way through? I'm guessing it's supposed to go all the way through because there's holes on the bottom. But then what about elephant's foot? Oh, hang on, there's a hole in this guy's head too, in the skull. Yeah, so I can't get it to go all the way through the skull, through the top or the bottom. So I'm guessing that means this is an overexposed result. I think, I'll have to check, I'll have to double check, but I think the skull, yeah, you're supposed to be able to go all the way through. And then these tests here, you're not supposed to be able to go through. And that water's supposed to fit in there. So while I've got those adhesion rafts running off, I've also changed it down to 2.5 seconds and I've added cones of calibration again to the center. So we'll see what that result shows us. But so far, I'm digging this. This is cool. Hiya! Ching! Let's also just try bending this to failure. Oh man. Oh yes. I think we might have another good resin here. Hell yeah, dude. And the odor on this is non-existent, basically. It's there, but it's really subtle. Really, really subtle. And it's not bad either. It just smells like, I don't know, like mild nail polish or something. This is insane! I'm bending the shit out of this and it's not breaking. What the f***? Oh, there it goes. Okay, it finally broke. All right. That's exciting. So I thought I was recording audio here, but the microphone was actually off. So I'm going to attempt to dub this, and I'm dubbing from memory of what just happened while it's fresh in my mind, rather than doing this later while watching the playback. So hopefully I don't miss any details, but I mean, there's not much happened really. The second print went well, everything was stuck to the bed, so our build plate, I believe, is in fact level, so that's great. I did notice, however, that the adhesion to the build plate wasn't very good. All of these parts came away super, super easily, almost with no effort. And I think that's a result of the build plate being really, really smooth. So I just took some sandpaper. I think this is like 150 grit, something like that. It's pretty coarse, and just sanded this build plate lightly. Roughed it up, and now it should be a lot better. As for the cones of calibration, it was a fail. The two success cones that we care about the most did not fully connect. However, the dimensional accuracy elements appear to now be bang on. So I was able to fit the little cylinder, the water, into the mug, which was cool. And I was able to remove the sword and stick it through one of the two holes, and then also stick it through the skull hole. So that's super fun. Quick bit of feedback for Ty and Table Flip Foundry regarding this beta version of cones. The first is when inserting the water into the mug, it wants to bounce back out because of the pressure inside. Thinking about it now, maybe that's intentional so that it doesn't get stuck in there. But I was gonna suggest maybe adding a little like relief valve so it doesn't try and force itself back out when you push it in. But the other piece of feedback I have that I would love to see integrated is just a lip around the edge of this thing that makes it easy to get in underneath it with a spatula and pop it off the build plate. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's a really great calibration part. I'm super impressed with it. I think it's lots of fun. And I think for anyone getting into resin 3D printing, cones is definitely the way to go. And I mean, just the simplicity of like how quick and easy it is to read. You're not like heavily scrutinizing, 2.5 seconds versus 2.6 seconds and counting pins and holes and straining your eyes and doing all this guesswork and posting photos on forums like, hey, which one is exposed, guys? It's just, there's no ambiguity around cones. It's like, you're good or you're not good. And I really, really love that. I think that's perfect. But the fact that this new test now has these dimensional accuracy elements to it that are also pretty easy and quick to use, like without needing that more intense scrutiny is incredible. Okay, can I pick it up without spilling it? That's the question. Oh yeah. Right. So this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think this is the printer to beat right now. I mean, this thing's like, I just checked, it's $460 right now, direct from Amazon, and they include 2 liters of, not this one, but their ABS like 2.0, which I have heard good things about, and I'm keen to try myself. For a printer that has a heater, yes, it's not as nicely integrated as the GK2's heater, but it does work by all accounts. It has fancy smart features in the build plate, which you're not going to get with the GK2. Like this thing will literally, you know, it has like force sensors, so it'll know if there's like rogue resin in there and like pause the print. Apparently it can tell as well if like you're running out of resin. I've heard mixed reports from people, and from just my own use of this thing, I haven't noticed those smart features impacting or helping me in any way. They're just there, and so I think that's just a nice to have. Who knows if they're... Actually, I could test it, couldn't I? I could put something in there and then try and lower the build plate and see if it breaks the LCD or if it detects it and stops. Oh, full disclosure, by the way, I should tell you about my relationship with Anycubic. They did pay me a couple of months ago to sponsor a video for this machine. But since then, everything I've said about this machine is coming from my own personal experience. But obviously, yeah, there's a bias there, so do be aware of that. But I really do think this is the printer to beat. Like, yeah, it's cheaper than the GK2 in a lot of ways. Like the VAT has these like little screws. It doesn't have the nice slide in and out feature. But the VAT is metal, so that's something. You know, you've got dual linear rails in the back, big chunky ones, similar, if not the exact same size, Z screw on each. This one is probably, I haven't tried leveling the GK2 yet, but this one's probably easier because it just uses the tried and true 4-bolt method. But in addition to that, those force sensors can apparently correct for if you don't get it perfectly level. And I've not had any issues with leveling with this machine. It's just been great the whole time. UI is nice on both of these. But yeah, the price difference is huge because this is like $460 with resin, free resin that they're just throwing in. And this is like $850. This is a lot of money. And this is just my first impressions. I'm not sure it is pulling off this whole easy at every step thing that they're claiming. Because to calibrate, it wasn't as easy as this. This has resin exposure range finding. This makes calibration just so quick and effortless. I had to do 3 prints on this to calibrate this M58 resin, whereas if I was to do it on here, I could do it in 1 print. So really, the only thing I'm seeing... and not to mention, this has working Wi-Fi. I looked into this a little bit more. It turns out their Wi-Fi, it is a local network Wi-Fi, which is a bonus. It is actually better than this, which uses an offshore server. That sucks. Also, there was the thing recently with Anycubic getting hacked or something. I haven't really caught up on that news yet, but I just saw the headlines. That's not fun. So I don't like that the wireless capability of this involves a remote server. I think that sucks. Much better to do it on your home network like this. And they are working on a way to actually control this over the Wi-Fi. Because right now, all you can do is send files to it through your file explorer on your PC, which is... what's the point? Because you still got to get up and then press print on the thing. I guess it's slightly more convenient because you're not dealing with a USB drive. But yeah, just thinking, like, if it was me looking to upgrade to a new printer... Oh, and they've both got super high resolution screens. They're both well past that 50 micron point in all axes. This one's, I think, a 12K or a 14K screen. It doesn't even matter, does it? It's a stupid high resolution screen on I think it's roughly 9 or 10 inches or something, same as that one. But that one's 8K, but who cares? Because they're both so sharp, we're not going to be able to tell anyway. Yeah, prints will look great off of both of these, no doubt. So maybe actually replacement LCDs for the GK2 will be slightly cheaper because they're 8K versus this, which is 14K. I still haven't looked that up. I'm curious. That's probably expensive, right? That's got to cost a lot. Yeah, I think... Okay, here's the thing. If keeping your resin warm is a critical factor for you when buying a machine, then you're going to be looking at one of these two. You're not going to be looking at the Nova 3D because the heater in that thing just turns off after you exit the menu that controls the heater, so it's completely useless. You need that consistent heating, or at least my understanding is you need that consistent heating throughout the duration of your print. And that printer can't do it, but also that printer has just such a bad leveling system that I don't recommend anyone buy that printer for that reason alone. And it's I think it's about I think it's more than this one. I only know the prices in Australian dollars. I think this one's about $700 in Australian dollars, and then the Nova is like 900 or maybe even 1,000. So anyway, why am I talking about the Nova? No one should buy that. Oh, I should give a quick shout out though to Nova 3D. Because their attitude toward that video, despite how critical it was and scathing, was really good. They took the feedback on board, and it sounds like they desire to improve and do better in the future. So I hope that Nova 3D do take on board my criticisms and give us a better product, especially if they can do resin exposure range finding, and if they can come up with a better leveling system that's easy, maybe something like this. And get that price down. Oh, and install the swingy door. Yeah, I mean, go watch that video for all my complaints about Nova 3D. But if they can do that stuff, hell yeah, they'll have a serious contender on their hands. But for right now, if you're looking at upgrading your resin 3D printer and your top priority is heating, I think you're looking at these two machines. Oh, there is also a heating system from GKTwo Systems. So that is a thing too. So if you're happy with just buying any 3D printer and using this style of heater, you can absolutely do that. I don't know if Anycubic is going to sell this on its own. They could, because it is a standalone unit. It's not like wired to this printer at all, but it doesn't matter because you can get the GKTwo Systems one. So if you're okay with this style of heating and that does the job, then just buy whatever printer suits your budget, get that heater, and then you're good to go. So what is the appeal of the GKTwo? I'm still trying to figure that out. The swingy door is hot garbage. The vat is kind of cool, but it's not perfect either. The way that the heater is integrated in the GKTwo is probably the most impressive or standout, or biggest reason to get it over any other heating system, because it's a heating system that takes place underneath the vat that is directly heating the resin, as best I can tell. Oh, it's maybe second only to the Haygears heating system. The Haygears one is just incredible. I don't recommend you buy a Haygears machine, because then you're locked into a closed ecosystem. You can't control anything. You can't calibrate your own resins, or one of the problems I had was like the build plate adhesion was terrible. And how the hell do you improve build plate adhesion on a machine that gives you literally no dials to adjust? There are no parameters at all that you can control. So literally what I had to do was I sanded that build plate to try and improve my build plate adhesion, because yeah, there was literally nothing else I could do. I have heard they've since adjusted their profiles to improve the build plate adhesion. And I think it was, I was talking to Rising Ape. You guys should all go subscribe to his channel. It's fantastic. Anyway, yeah, I was chatting with him, and he was telling me that his build plate adhesion with the Haygears machine is too much, and he struggles to get the parts off. So they've clearly gone and adjusted that profile. But anyway, I'm way off track here. Yeah, so the Haygears system has like the most incredible heating system, because it's literally built into the vat. Like there's coils or something that run around the metal exterior of the vat. It's very integrated. It's very cool, and it works brilliantly. This works brilliantly as well, and by all accounts, this works brilliantly too. So at the end of the day, I think it just becomes a budgetary choice. Maybe like if you can afford the GKTwo, maybe you just buy the GKTwo, because it's got a lot of nice day-to-day user experience design elements to it. But then I don't know that there's that much more there that's making the printing experience better over something like this. Maybe you could point to the build plate and saying that the top of that not getting resin on it when it prints is like a huge win. I don't know that it's a huge win. I think it's a cool feature for sure. But then maybe that's coming at the expense of an annoying leveling system, which we will find out. I'm keen to know. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Trying to figure out the value proposition of these printers. I think this is the one to beat. I really do. I've been so impressed with this machine, and this has been a machine that I've just been using for just like printing off like stuff that I need to print off. Like I did some bases with this recently. I test printed all of my the 1 in a 6 side base pack. So these are all printed in this resin actually. So these are some bloody expensive bases. Yeah, I had to just test print these because I'm a firm believer that if you pre-support anything and you sell, particularly if you sell anything and it's pre-supported, you better bloody well have test printed it. And so these are all, I believe, supported brilliantly because one of the tricky things about printing bases is keeping a perfect edge all the way around. And here,
the way I've supported it, because I've supported a shit ton of bases, right? I used to do supports professionally, and what I found was the best way to do it is to put really, really dense supports, but small, tiny ones, along that leading edge, and of course print them at an angle like this. So yeah, the print times do take longer, but then the end result is just really clean and really nice. But yeah, that's my base pack. You can get that on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee or YouTube by becoming a member, as well as a bunch of other STLs. Quick plug. Yeah, these all turned out fantastic. Super happy with those, and they're all printed on here. It's just a great printer, and it's just been working solidly for me and consistently because it's got that RERF feature. I have no hesitation about emptying out the vat and putting in a fresh resin that I've never printed with before, because to calibrate is just so easy. It's so quick. Whereas other resin printers, literally every other resin printer, GKTwo included, the thought of calibrating makes me want to just chew glass because it's... Wait, is that a saying? Doesn't feel like one. The act of calibrating is like chewing glass when it's on a 3D printer like this. Yeah, it's not fun. It's resistance, right? It's like, oh, well, that's not a fun activity. That sucks to do. That's my evening gone, you know? Whereas with this, it's like you can just do that pretty quick. It's not a big deal. It's one print. And it's like, okay, yeah, I know what this resin needs. So anyway, we've got Space Marines printing. It's nearly 6 in the morning, so I should probably go to bed. And then we'll come back tomorrow. And what are we doing tomorrow? We'll look at those Space Marines, and I think we'll wrap this video up. We can look at the print quality or whatever, and yeah, go from there. I'm thinking, moving forward, maybe not doing 3D printer reviews at all and just sticking to these first impressions videos, because I kind of feel like 3D printer reviews are a bit of a... I feel like you can't have a review unless you sit on a product and use it heavily for a long period of time. Then you can do a review, right? But like to pull something out of a box, do a few prints, and then like come to conclusions about a thing, yeah, you can do it. Yes, it is helpful in regards to helping you figure out what you should buy, but it's not, I don't know, it's not, the products aren't vetted enough that I don't think a meaningful review can be given. But at least with first impressions, I mean, it's like, I can tell you what I like, I can tell you what I don't like, you can see what I trip over, you know, what catches me up, what's frustrating, what's easy, how good the prints look. You know, it's kind of like all the main stuff you would figure out from watching a review. It's just the context is different, right? I don't know. Because like making a review kind of feels like a waste of time as well. You got to put in a shit ton of effort into like scripting and all this stuff. And if this was solely a review channel, then yeah, I think it would make sense to do that style of video. But I don't know, it's not really what this channel is. It's never really what this channel was supposed to be. I'm very grateful that I get to play with all these toys. I think that's awesome. But doing 3D printer reviews is kind of whatever. All I care about really is like how easy is it to get set up and running with these things, and yeah, just print cool minis. So the quicker I can get to doing that with a printer, the less resistance I face, the less the printer fights me, you know, the better. And I feel like at this point I'm rambling and I've gone on 5 tangents. So I'm gonna end this recording here. I'll see you tomorrow. Not bad. You know what? I'm noticing something with this build plate too that I wasn't expecting. And that is that the amount of resin loss is very, very low, which is super cool. So here we go. We can see all of Moid's minis looking pretty good. Oh, we do have a little bit of build plate separation here. I wonder why that's happened. Overwhelming peel forces, I would say. I don't think it's unlevel, but that's interesting. That's unrelated to the supports, and that has not affected the parts, it looks like. So looking closely at these, I see no disconnected tips, which is great. So I think these parts have turned out beautifully, which is about what I expect from Moid supports, because these aren't the first Moid minis I've printed. Yeah, build plate adhesion still maybe not the best. So yeah, literally like this is all the resin waste after clearing that build plate, and that was straight after that print had finished that I pulled that build plate out. So yeah, that is a huge benefit to this build plate not getting fully submerged during the printing process.
So that's fantastic. I'm really stoked to see that, actually. Very nice. So just a quick word on print quality. It's good. I mean, no surprises there, really. So what we're looking at here is the Marines from Moid, and these are available this month for Once in a Six Side members. These prints look sharp. They look good. I'm very happy with them. The upcoming video also has a shit ton of other models printed with this machine as well. So if you want to see more stuff printed with the GK2, but for now, there's a few more things to talk about that I've found with this printer, and then we'll wrap this one up. Wait, watch this. You see that? Look here. You see that? It moves. It's not affecting the quality of the prints or anything, as far as I can tell, but it's interesting to note, nonetheless. So up to this point, I would say that the experience with the GK2 has been pretty smooth. Not exactly easy at every step. I mean, calibrating was a pain in the ass, like it is on every other printer, except for Anycubic machines. No, but that is what it is. I do foresee some issues around that VAT. It's a little bit annoying that you can't change the print settings on the fly. That also kind of ties into the calibration limitation though. Oh, I haven't tested recovery on power loss. I should do that. That's a nice feature. But really the thing I want to try now is I want to learn a little bit more about this build plate here. So I think it's time we loosen off the bolts, throw this thing out of level, try and re-level it, and see if we have success. Because this is a really, really important aspect to resin 3D printing, is getting your build plate level. Now, this is not a hard thing to do most of the time. The majority of printers I've ever encountered make it incredibly simple and straightforward and low effort and non-ambiguous, except for the Nova 3 Whale 3 Ultra. So I'm really interested to see if this weird system is like the Nova and incredibly frustrating and pisses me off, or if it's straightforward, easy, and works. And something else that's really going to impact that user experience as well is being able to level it with the VAT installed and resin in there. That's a big deal. But yeah, let's give it a go. Alright, so I just watched their video again just to catch myself up on this process. So the outer screws you loosen off counterclockwise, which is what you would expect. They feel loose, which is strange. So they say just go 3 to 4 turns, like this. So get them pretty loose. But then the strange bit is the inner screws here, you loosen by turning clockwise, and they also feel loose straight away. I can't really tell if the Allen key is like going into those inner ones. I think it is. All right, so those are all loosened off now. So this should now be loose. Yep. And then the next thing to do is to move the Z to 0, which is that button there. Okay, now it says to adjust all of the outer screws clockwise until you feel a little bit of resistance, but not to tighten. So, okay. Yep. 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 Okay. And then finally, to tighten the inner screws. It didn't look like they tightened them very much. Oh, and you have to go counterclockwise, right. Yeah, that's a little weird. Not the end of the world. Nothing's happening. Oh, here we go. All right, so it looked like they went just finger tight, like that. Let's try the next one. Okay, and I believe that's it. We should now be level. So Uniformation suggest at this point checking the leveling using their paper strip method. However, I would prefer to use the rafts of adhesion because it only takes a few minutes and it will tell us beyond a shadow of a doubt if we are level or not. Okay, here we go. So there's only a handful of layers left to go for our rafts of adhesion. So I think we have enough to know whether our build plate is level or not. So what I'd like to do now is pull the power to see if this machine has recovery on power loss. Here we go. All right, reconnecting the power. Let's see what happens. Oh, nothing. That's unfortunate. It's not a feature you'll need often, but when you do need it, you'll be glad you've got it. Kind of disappointing to not have that here in such an expensive machine. Ah well, let's take a look at our rafts and see if we were successful in leveling that build plate. Do you see anything? God, I hope it worked. I think I can see a couple. Uh-oh. Shit. I don't think it worked. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm only seeing maybe 2, 3? 3 along the back, but no others. Yeah, that is unfortunate. We got one there, and one there. Otherwise, fail. Now I gotta do a vat clean and try again. Thankfully I've got supports this time. Should be easier. Okay, here we go. Sometimes that method works, other times no. How annoying. It's really stuck on there. Of course it is. Okay, I've got it. And you can see those failed adhesion rafts there, hopefully. You see them? They're on the other side of this, but you should be able to see the difference between this resin. If I crumple this, it's not going to crack like that other one, even though it was exposed for a long time there because of the vat clean function. And I think that really effectively demonstrates the, oops, I got it to tore a little bit there. But I think that pretty effectively demonstrates the differences between a brittle and a durable resin. It's something that you can pretty quickly feel the difference between once you've handled multiple resins. Anyway, let me finish cleaning up here. We'll try leveling again. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll try this again in the vat, and then failing that, we'll do it their way. We're pulling the vat out, cleaning the build plate, and checking with the paper, which I don't like at all. So I really hope we can get it with the vat method. But yeah, let's see here. So first things first, we have to tighten the outer ones until we feel a bit of resistance. So I'm going to try this time going until I feel, yeah, just like last time I went a little bit past resistance. It still felt like very low resistance, definitely not tight, but this time I'm going just until I feel resistance. Just double check. Yeah. Okay, it's very strange. Now we're going to tighten the inner ones counterclockwise, finger tight. Go diagonal. Okay, so that should be it. Let's try printing this file again. Wish me luck. You see anything? Oh, they're mostly there, just not on this corner. How annoying. So what do I do? Do I tighten that more on that corner? Close, so close. I definitely, even though I'm not having success here, I'm not feeling as frustrated by this as I was with the previous printer, the Whale, just because the process here is a lot less ambiguous. It's still ambiguous. This is not great. This is not a good look for an $800 printer. I can tell you that much. But what am I saying? But yeah, just the fact that it's like, it's easy to understand what you're supposed to do, and it's very quick to do it. Let's try one more time. So let's get these off. Okay, is it gonna work this time? Oh, bitch. Maybe it's something about this resin. How annoying. Uniformation, why do you hate me? So this is really interesting. Do you see this? The one in the middle is actually probably halfway printed. And so what happened is that one just failed at build plate adhesion partway through. But then this corner also failed at build plate adhesion, but a lot sooner. So I wonder actually if we are level and we just need to increase our burn-in time or rough up that build plate even more. I'm running out of resin here. So I think what I'll do is I'll sand the build plate aggressively in this corner and run the print again and see what we get. Or actually, I'll do that in addition to also increasing my burn-in time. We'll see what happens. So the vat was running dangerously low on resin there. So I did just spike it a little bit with Tough Resin Ultra just to get us across the finish line. And for our purposes, I don't think that's going to affect anything here. As in, I don't need to bother recalibrating because we're just doing a bed adhesion test. One of you suggested buying a little UV torch, or flashlight, rather, for my American viewers. And yeah, this is a really good idea because it's wireless. It runs on batteries. It's brilliant. Just been using this to sterilize stuff. Very, very cool. I took a screenshot of that comment. I took a screenshot of a bunch of comments from the Ultimate Resin 3D Printing Miniatures Guide video because there's a ton of good stuff that has been suggested by you guys that I will, yeah, definitely include in part 2 of that video. Or series, I should say. Did improving build plate adhesion get us across the finish line? I think so. Yes. Yes. All right. I see all of them. That's good. Whew. All right. I think we can call that done for the GKTwo. So now the only question remaining is, should you buy this printer? Is it worth the $800-900, whatever it costs? Maybe. Let's put it this way. It's a good printer. And you would not be disappointed, I think. You'd be happy with this printer if you bought it. Having said that, I think you'd also be happy buying a printer half the price of this one. Yes, the build plate is nice and saves you resin. The VAT design is cool, although probably not optimal. We have discovered some weird and possibly inconvenient things about it. The touchscreen's really nice, responsive, works well, no complaints there. USB on the front. Swingy door sucks. There's no recovery after power loss feature, which kind of sucks. I would really hope to see that on a printer that costs this much. And leveling the build plate kind of sucks. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not as easy and straightforward as it could be. We got there in the end. We didn't have to remove the VAT, so it wasn't that big a deal. And it's quick to do. It just, yeah, it took a couple goes. So I'm not as upset about that as I was with the Nova, but it is what it is. It's not a deal breaker in this case, I don't think. Yeah, if you're buying this printer, I'm pretty sure it's just for the integration of the heater. But by all accounts, the heaters that are just blowing hot air are working really well as well for people printing in colder climates. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. Hopefully I've been able to share with you enough information and experience related to this printer throughout the duration of this video that you've been able to make up your mind, or at least make a more informed purchasing decision if you were looking at this and other 3D printers. Yeah, like I was talking about before, I really think it comes down to beating the Anycubic M5s Pro, because that thing has a heater that comes with it. It also has recovery on power loss, as well as a bunch of other stuff that this doesn't have. This has some nice to haves that machine doesn't have, like the cool design of this build plate and VAT. So it's always a trade-off. But yeah, that machine is significantly cheaper than this one, I think. That's a double check. But yeah, I think you'd be happy with either. But then the other thing, of course, too, is if heating is your primary concern, GKTwo Systems sell this little blower heater. I haven't tested it yet. They are going to send me one, but by all accounts as well on this works really well too. So there are other solutions too, like, what are they called? Can't think of the name right now. I'll put it on screen, but it's like an elastic thing or a stretchy thing that you wrap around your VAT that provides heating, and those work really well. There's also like reptile heating supplies that I think could work as well. So, you know, there are options in regards to keeping your resin warm. But this is definitely a very good implementation of a heater, that's for sure, because the heater's like underneath the VAT. So it's directly heating that resin, which is really cool. The only implementation I've seen better than this is the Haygears one. And the Haygears one literally, I can't remember if I mentioned it already, but it has the heating built into the VAT, into the perimeter of the VAT, which is super cool. And the Haygears one works very well. But yeah, they both do the same thing here, where they won't start printing until the target temperature is reached. So yeah, this is definitely a good purchase if you just want a no-fuss heated printer for a cold environment. Yeah, this is going to serve you well, I imagine. But yeah, Uniformation, definitely not easy at every step. My two biggest gripes definitely are going to be the lack of a exposure range finding function, and the build plate's kind of annoying to level. Oh, and the swingy door is really horrible. Other than that, yeah, I think you'd be happy with it. But again, I'm just at the risk of repeating myself. You'd also be happy with the printer half the cost. So yeah, do with that what you will. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, and see you back here soon.